talks. You'll be getting, advice on different topics. We're going to be talking about networking, so you leveraging social media. We're going to talk about disabilities, and different training options that you can pursue. And we've got.
And you're coming across a few barriers because either the job's not right, or you don't have the qualifications, or people don't know you from a bar of soap, right? Because if you submit your resumes online, you are another piece of paper when they print it out. You are another resume, and you can craft a really good resume and a really good cover letter, but if they don't know who you are and what you represent, because face it, resumes can be quite dry. Right? If I'm a former recruiter, and I used to look at resumes all the time, and to be quite honest, resumes, there are very few that really stand out. But if someone said, hey Jane, I know this person, Joe Smith, for example, and he's really good, you must talk to him, I would talk to that person even if I hadn't seen the resume, because someone had recommended them to me, and someone that I know, like, and trust wouldn't recommend me to talk to someone who was a waste of time, right? So you need to start leveraging the people who know you and know what you can do, because one of the sayings that I really love is, be so good they can't ignore you. Because you've got skills, yes? Right? You've all got skills. Have you got really good skills? Are you amazing at what you do? Wonderful. Raise your hand if you're amazing at doing something. Something, I don't care what, something. Come on, even those of you who don't have your hand up, I bet there is something that you can do better than I can, and better than many other people can as well. And you need to make sure that you are known for what you can do. And one of the ways that you can really boost that, your reputation, is to build a strong personal brand. Now, branding online is easy to do now if you know how, and it's free. So you can build a strong personal brand so that people know what you can do and what you represent without having to pay for anything. And that's what leads me to, no slides. Any luck? Working on it, okay. Well, at some stage we'll get some slides and I'll be able to show you, but until then I will keep talking, okay? So does anyone have an internet connection? Who can access the internet? Almost everybody, right? Okay. Who has got a LinkedIn profile? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of you have got a LinkedIn profile. 7 of you? Okay, good. 7 out of the group. I really want you all to set up a LinkedIn profile after today, because LinkedIn is one of the top places that people go to, recruiters and hiring managers, to source for candidates. They use the keywords to find who they want. So whether it's an executive assistant or an administrator or a marketing coordinator or whatever it might be that you are and you can do, they're going to put those keywords into the search field on LinkedIn, and hopefully your profile will pop up. If you are not on LinkedIn, you won't pop up, will you? Right? So what you want to make sure is when your name does pop up for whatever it is that you're known for, I want you to be on page 1, and I want you to be the best that they find. So who's got a LinkedIn profile here in the front? You do, right. And what are you known for? What are you really good at?
I haven't put that up. I've just originally opened up 2 years ago. I opened up 2 years ago and I just put down as a student, but I haven't really progressed from there.
Herein lies the problem. You haven't been found for what you're really good at, right? So tell me, what are you really good at? What do you do?
I would say I'm good at a lot of things. I don't advertise it because I'm pretty left up field with my thinking with a lot of things, which might offend some people. But
what job would you be looking for?
I was looking originally in hospitality, but then I was thinking, I like the practicals, but I also like the management side of things. So I'm kind of in between, trying to decide still.
Okay, so, and your name is? Mary. Mary's looking for a job in hospitality. She's looking for a leadership role, potentially in management, but she's got multiple skill sets, yes? But within hospitality, there's a lot of customer service that's required as well. So if I was going to be looking for someone who's really good in hospitality with great customer service skills, I would like to see Mary's profile with those words on them on LinkedIn, because it would give you a chance to be found. Does that make sense? Yeah, so LinkedIn is a very, very powerful platform. We're nearly going to get some slides because I've got some examples that I want to show you that would be really good. Now, if you set up a LinkedIn profile, let me tell you some statistics. 93% of recruiters and hiring managers go to LinkedIn as their first point of contact when they're sourcing for candidates. 93%, okay? So if you're not there, you won't be found. So I want you to give yourself that best possible chance. On LinkedIn, there are 640 million members on LinkedIn. In Australia alone, there are over 10 million members already. So that's a huge pool. And so not only for you to be found, but for you to search for people who you might want to work for, that's a lot of people that are potentially going to be found by you as well. So say if you're thinking hospitality and you want to work for, say, the Merivale Group, who have lots of hospitality outlets, you might want to look for the Merivale Group on LinkedIn, find out who might be in HR or who might have the job title to which you would like to report, and you can target them on LinkedIn. You can reach out and send them a message. And if you have to use an in-mail, it's $10 per message, but if they respond to you, you get that $10 back. So it could be free, right? So there are lots of ways that you can use LinkedIn as a wonderful platform for you, and it's a branding platform. Ah, we have light, thank you. That's so good. Okay, can we go to the next slide very, very quickly? And then I'll skip through it because the next slide, okay, so this is just me. It's a bit small, you can't see it, but I have Your Career Podcast. Your Career Podcast is free. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. You can find it all over the place, and I provide free career advice in there, and I've interviewed many, many people who have made fascinating career changes. People who've changed country, changed industry, and they have talked about how they make that career change and how they overcame all the challenges. I've moved country 5 times. I'm originally from Hong Kong. I'm half Chinese, I'm half English. My first language is Cantonese. And so I didn't learn English until I was about 6, 7 years old, okay? And so, can you tell? Yeah, half Chinese. Yeah, okay. And also, I think Chinese genes, it just makes me look a little bit younger because I'm a lot older than most people think. A lot older. Okay, I had a massive milestone birthday a month ago and almost I was in shock. Okay, but anyway, so I moved country 5 times. Each time I moved, I had to reinvent myself. I didn't know anybody. People didn't know me, they didn't know what I could do. And I was scared when I moved country because I thought, oh, what if I can't get a job there? Probably what some of you also felt, yes? And so in order to get the next job, I had to make some friends, expand my network, okay? So networking, some people think networking's a bit of a dirty word. It's not. Networking is making friends, developing connections. That's all it is. So if I ask you to network, don't go, ooh, that's schmoozy, because networking, schmooziness is like, hello, my name's Jane. Yeah, I'm a career coach, call me. No, that's not networking, okay? You don't meet someone and say, hey, I'm a career coach, call me. It's hello, nice to meet you, and what is your name?
My name's Sandra.
Sandra, lovely to meet you, Sandra.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Lovely, thank you. And so then we'll start talking. I go, so what do you do, Sandra? And Sandra will say, Jane, and what do you do? And then we get to know each other, a good eye contact, bonding, we become friends. And then if someone said, oh, I need to find someone who does this, and I'll go, oh, you know, I met Sandra, she seemed really switched on. She does that, why don't you have a chat? Then there's more likelihood of things moving forward, yeah? So anyway, so with all of these changes, I had to develop a strong network. And I'm so fascinated by people who've made interesting career changes that I've got over 100 episodes on Your Career Podcast that you can listen to for inspiration when you're feeling a little bit down. When you're looking for a job, sometimes you feel good, you know, when you get the interview, and then if you don't get to the next stage, then you feel down. It's an emotional roller coaster. Yeah, has anyone felt that emotional roller coaster of the job search? drives you crazy, doesn't it? Okay, you will be successful if you follow the steps. Okay, now I've also got Navigating Career Crossroads, which is this book that I wrote because I'm on a mission to make careers guidance accessible and affordable to the world. And this book, surprisingly, makes people think I'm more intelligent than I really am. You know, you publish a book, suddenly your IQ goes up. I'm still the same person I always was, but that enables me to reach many, many people. Yes, Sandra?
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Do you sell that book?
I do, yes. I'll sell the book. After today, I'll have it at the back if you want to have a look. Also, at the end of this talk, I'm going to do a quick lucky draw, and one of you can win a copy. All right? Yay, woohoo! So, I always like to do a little bit of giveaway. So anyway, I've got one book to give away, and so we'll do a quick lucky draw. All right, can I go to the next slide, please? Okay, here are some statistics, all right? Over 640 million members on LinkedIn. Only half of the people who are on LinkedIn have got complete profiles. That means 50% of the people on LinkedIn have rubbish profiles. But when you're on LinkedIn, yours is going to be great. Because I'm going to tell you what to do in order to have a great profile, all right? 2 new users per second join LinkedIn, so it's growing exponentially. If you have a profile photo on your profile, it means that it will be 14 times more likely that someone will view your profile. When I look at a LinkedIn profile and there's no photo, I get a bit sus, thinking, what are you trying to hide? Okay, on a resume you do not put a photo because you don't need it, but on LinkedIn it's social media marketing. We need to know who you are. It's a professional networking site. So if you don't have a profile photo on your LinkedIn profile, it's a bit like me coming to a networking event and saying, hello, nice to meet you. What's your name? Iram? Ram. Hello, Ram. Nice to meet you. But while I'm talking to him, I've got a paper bag over my head, so you can't see my face. And that's the same if you don't have a LinkedIn profile photo on your profile, all right? You might be very private people, but while you're looking for a job, let's just get it out there, all right? What else have I got? 93% of all HR recruiters use LinkedIn to recruit. Yes, listing your skills generates more views on LinkedIn as well. There's so much that you can do to make sure that people come and land on your profile. Does that all make sense? Can I just ask you, am I talking too fast? Am I too slow? Am I really boring? Is it all okay so far? So far, so good. Okay. If you get bored, just go, Jane, move on. I'm used to that because I talk so much all the time. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so why LinkedIn? Now, here, 81% of buyers, okay, i.e. people who might be hiring you, are likely to engage with a strong professional brand on LinkedIn. If you're going to be on LinkedIn, make it a good one, okay? Make it a good profile. 92% of business-to-business buyers, okay, engage with sales professionals who are known as industry thought leaders. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean by if people already know that you have an opinion about something in your area of expertise. And sometimes we're afraid to put too much out on social media. I don't want to talk about the personal stuff. I want to talk about what you can do. So if you are an expert in your field, and I know that we have a very powerful expert in here, Mark, who is a networking expert, yes? So you are known for networking, thought leadership. So if you want to find someone who is a very good networker, who knows about networking, Mark would be someone to go to, because you can go onto LinkedIn and you can see that he has got wonderful articles with information in there. I've done a bit of stalking Mark, that's why I know, okay? Great profile, okay? So he's a really good example to go to. For me, if you land on my profile, it's all about careers, career management, how to find a job, how to stay up when you're feeling down, how to build your self-confidence, how to write a resume, how to write a cover letter. That's a lot of advice and guidance that I provide so that people get to know me as a career coach, because I'm branding myself, because it's my job, right? Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so in order to use LinkedIn effectively, we have to build your professional brand. That is your reputation, okay? Personal branding is a bit of a buzzword at the moment. All it is your reputation out there in the world. Focus on the right prospects. You don't want everybody to be calling you. You want your target audience to be calling you. And your target audience will be whatever the job title is to which you would like to be reporting. Make sense? Yes? And then you need to engage with insights on LinkedIn. People publish stuff. So say if I publish something or Mark published something and you thought, hey, that's pretty good, give it a like, give it a comment, because then that will be pushed out to all of your connections too. And then people will notice that, oh, you're saying something also insightful on other people's content, and that's a good thing. And then share your own thought leadership. If you have an opinion piece and you are an expert in your field, if it's hospitality, if it's leadership, if it's administration, whatever your area of expertise is, it could be sales, it could be customer service, then please share what you have to say about it in your opinion. All right, I always like to put in my opinion, because there's always going to be someone who disagrees with me, and that's fine, because I like a bit of disagreement, because it generates debate. And so let's have a discussion on LinkedIn. And then you want to build trusted relationships. People only buy from people who they know, they like, and they trust. Would you agree? Okay? If you are looking for a job, you are actually in sales, because you need someone to buy what you've got to offer. Think about the problems that your potential employer might be experiencing and make sure that you are the solution to that problem. That will help you to get the job, all right? Always be really solution focused. Can we have the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, now here, I think this is a little bit small and hard for you to see, but what you want to do is to make sure that you are active enough and connect with good people in your area of interest on LinkedIn, and it will boost your social selling index. So the more successful you are on LinkedIn, your social selling index will go up, okay? Now mine goes up and down depending on how active I am. And because I'm a LinkedIn trainer, I'm very active. So getting up there is easy for me because I'm on it every single day. Now, on the next slide, you will see that here on the left it says people in your industry. People in my coaching training industry, on average, only have 15%. Okay, they're only ranked 15% in the effectiveness of their profile. In the previous slide, I'm at 83. I find it very hard to get much higher than that, but you're aiming at about 70% plus, okay? Now, of all of the people that I'm connected to, and I'm connected to about 5,000 people, I'm a former recruiter, so people like to connect with me, but in my entire network, most people only rank about 38%. So think about your profile. When you set one up, let's aim for 70% plus in the social selling index. And on the next slide, you'll be able to see the URL where you can find what yours is. So if you've got a LinkedIn profile, you go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI, and you can have a look at your social selling index. If you haven't been using LinkedIn very much, don't be depressed by your low score. It's fine, okay? Because you're going to be working on it, and it will go up the more active you are on LinkedIn. Am I losing you? Does this make sense so far? It's okay, great. Okay, so here are the elements of a really strong LinkedIn profile. So easy, a professional photo. Got some professional photographers here, which will be good. But even if you don't have a professional photo, you can use your iPhone. iPhone's pretty good these days, but have a nice plain background behind you so it looks like a professional photo, and make sure the lighting is good. I'm going to give you some examples of good and bad photos in a minute. We need to have a compelling headline. You might not know what I mean by that. I will show you in a minute, but a headline is so important. You need to have a cover image that reflects your brand. What is it that you represent to the world? Again, I'll show you a visual so that makes sense. You need to have a career summary, or it's actually called the About section now on LinkedIn, and it's got to be compelling. What it needs to do is to project you into the desired direction. Not ancient history of what you used to do 5, 10, 15 years ago. It's what you are aspiring to moving forward, because that's what you want to attract. Yes? Yeah, aspirational is what I want your career summary to be. Then we need to have some media, photos or videos. If there's a picture of you receiving an award or someone saying thank you, or if there's a picture of you actually on the job doing something, why not put that there? Because this is social media on LinkedIn. People want to get to know the real person behind the resumes. And we need some can we go back? Sorry, we need some recommendations. And we need you to start getting active with activities and posts and commenting on other people's posts as well, because that generates an algorithm within LinkedIn, and once they see that you are active on LinkedIn, LinkedIn likes it, and then they push your profile out to more people as well. The algorithm changes all the time, but you don't need to worry about that. Let the LinkedIn trainers worry about it, but it certainly is a good way for you to get noticed. Okay, now the next slide, please. Is it possible to put this on slideshows so that each picture pops up individually, or if not, then not to worry, because I've got about 6 photos here and each one's supposed to pop up one at a time. Let's just see if that works. Any questions so far while we wait? No? Yes?
Yeah. Okay. Like some people are very reluctant because of their privacy. Would it be really necessary to put a photo up on a link?
Mary's cringing as she's saying this. Do I really have to do this because you don't want to? As you saw with the statistics, if you've got a profile photo, it's 14 times more likely that your profile will be viewed and looked upon seriously. Because if you don't have a profile photo, because it is social media, people wonder why. Okay, so just make it a nice one, nice smiling face, that's all, okay? But if there's some reason that you need to be incognito and you cannot be on social media because you don't want to be found by anybody, then of course that's your choice. But if you're looking for a job and you want employers potentially to be able to reach you, then we need to have a really good profile there. Okay, so you decide if social media marketing is for you. LinkedIn is, I mean, you can be on Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and everything else, but the one platform where you get most return on investment, ROI, of your time and energy for job seekers is LinkedIn. I guess I can't have individual photos. No, cannot? Okay, not to worry. Well, in which case, what you can see, you see on the left, there's a picture of like a little lion, and a very small little head of a man next to the lion. That was one of the bad photos, because he's not a zookeeper, so there's no reason for him to be posting a profile photo with him and lions, very fuzzy, out of focus, because I don't know what he looks like, I don't know what he's got to do with lions, and he is not a zookeeper, okay? Now the other photos, these are just head and shoulders with a nice smile, and you can see these people, their faces, so if you were going to go and meet them in an interview or having a coffee catch-up or a networking meeting, you'd probably recognize them, yes? What I don't want you to do is go out and have some massive glamour shot, and if you don't normally look like that every day, okay? So let's have a nice profile photo that really looks like you. And I think pictures, you know, speak 1,000 words, so you get the point. Just have a good photo taken for it. Thank you so much. Can I have the next slide? Okay, now here's a cover image. This is my cover image on my LinkedIn profile. When you look at this, you'll see it's branding, branding, branding the whole way. So when you look at that, do you know what I do? What does it look like that I do? Career coach? Yeah, I like to speak and I like to wave my hands around a lot. Well, that's me, I love doing this. Okay, but I've got a little slogan, your career success, okay, is my business. I have a book, I have a podcast, it does reasonably well, so I'm going to let you know. Now, it's not that big a deal, but it looks impressive, doesn't it? Yes? It looks like I enjoy one. I love talking. I love talking to people. I love helping people. My career anchor is dedication to a cause or service, which is why my mission is to make careers guidance accessible and affordable to everybody who needs it. Now, this shows you I'm a career coach. I like to talk, and sometimes people listen, all right? I have a nice photo there that a friend of mine took. Okay, she is a photographer, but it wasn't in a studio. It was just, I happened to be sitting in her living room and she removed the background. So I have a white background, but it looks like a professional studio shot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You see, so you don't need to spend a fortune to get a nice profile photo done. Okay, thank you. Could we have the next slide, please? Okay, now your headline or your tagline. For those of you who are on LinkedIn already, you know that the default tagline is your job title at whatever company you're working in, okay? So it could be marketing coordinator at Apple, all right? And that's what LinkedIn will populate in your tagline. I want you to change it. You can personalize it to use the 120 characters that LinkedIn allows us to say good stuff. So here, I help you to create your dream career. Career coach, LinkedIn resume coach, or the podcast host. I want you to know that's what I do. Irene is one of my clients. She's an EA, an executive assistant. So we put executive office manager because she's aspirational and she has led a small team before. Operations business partner, that's what EAs are. Operations, and they partner with business to get things done, right? She does a lot of project management and she is a senior executive assistant. So you see all the things that she wants to be known for are there, and she can prove that she can do it in the experience section because she's got her accomplishments there as well. Anything that you say in your tagline, you better be able to prove it later, okay? Because someone's going to say, I don't believe you, tell me the story. And if you don't have a story that's genuine, then you're just making up words, all right? So marketing is good, but make sure it's truthful at all times. So the tagline, you kind of get it? That makes sense? Yes. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now here's someone from LinkedIn, and this is what she's put on her profile. So she's got the LinkedIn cover image, because LinkedIn likes her to use that one. She says, creating economic opportunity through transformative learning. Now that's very interesting. Transformative learning. So it is the LinkedIn platform, which is quite transformational, but that's her profile. I think she could put more keywords in her tagline and use up the full 120 characters, but it's not bad. It's not bad, okay? The next slide, please. And here's one. Here's an engineer's profile. Now, usually engineering profiles are pretty boring because they're very process-oriented, and most engineers don't like to be on LinkedIn. I'm doing a talk to the Engineers Society on Friday, actually, so this is one of the reasons why I've included an engineer's profile in there. But for her, she's got pipeline engineer, ocean engineer, engineering communicators, stakeholder and project management, leadership, and STEM. All fantastic keywords for her area of expertise. She's got a picture of her, she's at an event, but because she's, the environment and the earth and the oceans are important to her, she's got a picture of the earth there. So it's branding for her as well. So it's quite compelling, yes? Can we have a look at the next slide? I've just got a few of these to show you, just to give you a bit of an idea. Here, no profile photo, no background image. What do you think? Does that look interesting? Do you want to read more? No, because there's nothing there. Think of LinkedIn as your own website, all right? Make it as interesting as possible. But this person is an enthusiastic, honest, and reliable person who enjoys working within a team environment or individually. It doesn't sound powerful enough for someone who is a general manager, because a general manager leads teams, develops people. There's so much more that this person could put in his profile. I've covered up his name because I don't like to say critique people. Here's another, yes, this one, thank you so much. This one, he has gone over the top. He's actually a friend of mine, all right? He has a mohawk, right? He's got a mohawk, he's in Singapore, he's an absolute nutcase, but he is a LinkedIn guru. He is very successful. But when I look at that profile, it's sell, sell, sell. Not quite my personality, but it's very much his personality. So go with what's right for you. He loves being like this and out there. I just go, hey Chris, it's a bit over the top, don't you think? But everyone calls him Mohawk, and so the Mohawk can do anything he likes. The next slide, please. And here's a human resources director. Now he's just got a nice colourful image of the background. I don't know what it means. It doesn't look very HR to me, but he's got a nice profile photo. So here he's got business partner, talent management, employee experience, people leadership, mountain biker. So he's given us something personal as well. So now we know a little bit about him. You're getting the idea with taglines and how having a cover image makes everything look so much more interesting. There's one final one to show you on the next slide. Yeah, okay, here we go. Here's someone who works for LinkedIn. She's got a beautiful profile photo there, and it's just a happy looking background image, but a darn sight better than the plain blue one that is the default, yes? And having a profile means it's interesting. Profile photo means it's interesting. Okay, moving on. Let's get into some more nitty-gritty. Your summary is important. I'm not sure if you can actually read this, but if you have a strange summary, people are not going to know what you do. This one is so odd. This person's summary says, explorer of the valley, native of the alley, deal and research partner at 16Z. I'm so confused. Alum and fangirl of Cornell, eBay, Cornell Tech, pop write-in and high-level VP. What does this person do? No idea. No idea. Waste of time. Okay, next slide, please. Honestly, I look at LinkedIn profiles all the time, and some of them just make me laugh. Here, there's a lot of text on this. Already, I'm bored. All right, there is too much information and not enough white space. Please, when you have 2 or 3 lines, give it a double return and give it some more white space. Use bullet points. Let's have a look on the next profile that has a lot of text, and I know it's a bit small because I tried to squeeze it all in, but you see they've got bullet points down at the bottom, they've got a couple of ticks down at the bottom as well, but there's more white space. It's easier to read. So when you're doing it, LinkedIn, when you type everything in, if you copy and paste from Word, you lose all the formatting. So you're going to have to go into that little square field and add in the extra returns. You can add emojis and colors and things like that. If you look at my profile, I've got lots of orange emojis because I like emojis. Okay, I've got microphone emojis and all sorts of things. But just make your profile interesting depending on what it is that you do. Okay? Yes, Mary?
A lot of people here, and a lot of people I know are either students, or they're doing volunteer work, or and a combination of looking for work on top of that. Now, if you've been out of work for a while, what will be the best thing to put on, like your current profile?
All your volunteer work that you're doing, and if you're doing, who does volunteer work here? Wonderful. Okay, this lovely lady in the red. What sort of volunteer work do you do?
I worked in Islamic Relief as a receptionist, and I am working here as a volunteer in admin and marketing.
Fantastic. So you've got marketing, administration, and reception experience. So you've got multiple transferable skills, haven't you? Put the volunteer work in there because they are skills. Just because you're not paid for something doesn't mean that it doesn't count. Sometimes it counts for even more because it shows that you're a good person. You are taking the time and effort to do things for the community. And that shows the type of person that you are as well. And I want to get to know the real people behind the LinkedIn profiles. So if you're a student, what are the subjects that you're studying? Put them in, because if you're studying those subjects, they must be part of the keywords that maybe you want a job in that area further down the track, yes? So put down where you're studying, put down what your major is, put down the subjects that you have also been studying, because they might be the right keywords. All the volunteer work, put it in there, because it shows you're dedicated to the community. And whether you're on a committee, perhaps you're the chairman of the committee or the secretary on the committee, or maybe you're just taking notes or whatever it is, it's a skill that you're using. Maybe you coach Little League soccer, right? Shows leadership skills. Maybe you help, at a bake sale. It means you've got sales skills. So even if it's voluntary work, what I don't want is a big gap. If there's a gap in employment, I want to know what have you been doing during that gap. If you've been studying and learning and upgrading your skills, that's a good thing. If you've had to take time off to look after family for whatever reason or bring up children, that's fine. We're all human beings. I took off 3 years when my kids were little. It was fine. It was a big gap. But even during that time, I was learning a great deal of patience. Okay? So everything we do, whether it's paid or unpaid, it gives us good experience. experience here. You see all the yellow bits in this slide. This is if I put in the word director of sales or sales director, this is how LinkedIn passes through your profile, and it does a keyword hit. So here we've got the word director and sales in yellow, and you can see this person has manipulated his or her profile so that anyone looking for a sales director, they're going to pop up on page 1. So you think about how you can put the information in your profile too for your keywords. You know what I mean by keywords, yeah? Okay, they're the keywords that might be in a job description. Maybe they're looking for interpersonal communication skills, or maybe they're looking for marketing skills, or maybe they're looking for operations or administration. Those are keywords that must be in your resume and must be in your profile too. Okay, is everyone falling asleep? Yep, you're okay so far? Okay. All right, nobody's smiling. I just wanted to check. Okay. All right, get recommendations. If you've done something good in your working life, then please ask the people that you've worked with to write you a recommendation. I know you might think, oh, I don't want to ask people for a favor. It's a recommendation. It doesn't cost them anything. It's just, hey, you did such a great job. Or Mary, we worked together for 5 years. I really liked what you could do in this area. They go, hey, would you mind giving me a recommendation on LinkedIn? Most people will say yes. And the people who say no are just grumpy bums. So don't worry about the grumpy bums. Let's go to the nice people who will give you a recommendation because they know what you can do. Okay, next slide. So what I want you to do is create your LinkedIn profile. Who does not have a LinkedIn profile? Okay. Now, so if you've got the internet, it's free to set up a LinkedIn profile. You go to linkedin.com and set up your profile. The basic profile. Once you've got a profile and you're a member of LinkedIn, which is free, then you can start looking at other people's profiles to get some ideas. If you look on my profile, I have everything, including the kitchen sink in there, and my working life goes way back to the early 1980s, okay, and I'm that old. You will find everything that I have done on LinkedIn, and you will know what my personality is like, and you will decide whether you like me or you don't. And my profile is designed to attract my dream clients and repel people who don't like my personality. Okay, and that's what I want to do. I have a business to run, right? So I want to work with the people I want to work with. I don't want to work with the people who don't like me. That's all. Very simple. Don't you feel the same? You want to work with people who share your values, you know, who understand you, who are like you as well. And that is what makes us happy in a work environment. And when I'm working with people that I know, I like, and I trust, and I respect them, and they respect me, I'm happy every day. You would be happy every day too, yes? Okay, so remember, you have a choice. When you're looking for a job, you're not begging for a job. You're not looking for any job. You're looking for a job where you will be respected and you will be paid adequately, okay, for a job well done. It needs to be fair, that's all. Now, I have the Careers Academy. This is, if you're interested, go to the Careers Academy online and have a look. Okay, next slide, please. Here's where I have my lucky draw. Who wants to be in the lucky draw? Okay, all right. This is the simplest way. I don't have bowl and I don't have bits of paper. So what you can do is, if you text your name, okay, to that phone number, I will see, and then I will scroll through, and randomly I will get Stephanie to point at one person, and they will win the book. Do you want to do that? Yeah. Okay. You don't have to. It's just up to you. Okay. So I'll wait for messages to just your name and your phone number. Okay. Nobody texting. I feel unloved. Unloved. Nobody wants my book. It took me a year to write the book. Yeah, I've got the right number there. Ah, here we go. All right. Oh, they're coming in. Lovely. Let's see. Okay, 2 have come in. Oh, 3, 4. Okay, all coming now. Oh, exciting. Now, what I want to tell you is, this afternoon, later, when I go back to my home office, what I'll do is, everyone who has texted me, I will text you a link to my free How to Get a Job podcast course as well, okay? And so you can just listen to my very sleep-inducing voice, and I will be talking to you about the steps you need to take to find your next role, starting from your mindset and building confidence, okay? So, are you all done? Finished? Can I choose yet? Yeah? Some people having problems texting? Who has problems texting? Okay, I need to wind up. Hurry up. Are you finished? I'm going to do some choosing now. Stephanie's going to choose.
Finish your talk and we'll do the choosing.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, so next slide, and I'll just wind up because we need to wind up. Okay, so thank you so much. You can always follow me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and it's at Jane Career Coach. That's my handle, so you'll be able to find me. Okay, so can I do the lucky draw yet? There's one very slow person who texting. Texting is not your skill, okay? New phones, okay. Yes. Yes, okay. We will do the draw just before lunch. So, do you have any questions before I wind up? Yes.
On your podcast, do you do that at home? Like, do you create the podcast at home? Like, what's your article, or is it just like your thoughts on the career field or anything like that?
I have a home studio, so I've got a microphone and I've got my editing equipment, and what I do is I interview really interesting people who've had amazing career changes. Yeah, and how they overcame challenges in order to set up their own business or to find another role in maybe a different industry as well. Any other questions?
So sometimes there is a case when we we see a job posting on Seek or Indeed or any other platform, and the job poster has got his or her name. Is it fine to go to LinkedIn and connect with them and just refer them the job that I have applied for this job, and just hope that it would speed up or it would highlight us? Is it a good way to?
It's the perfect thing to do, okay? If there's a name, even if there isn't a name, I want you to be a detective and find out the name. And then you call them, pick up the phone and call them, ask for more information, sell yourself over the phone, let them know you're a very close match or a match to what they're looking for, and would they like to connect with you on LinkedIn. Reach out to them on LinkedIn as well, connect with them, but don't connect until your profile is great. Make sure you've got a good profile, so when they land on it, they go, wow, he's amazing. Okay, so definitely yes. I need to wind up, but
I've actually tried asking a couple of recruiters to meet over coffee just to discuss my profile, and I have heard them back from them. Is it a good approach?
Recruiters are not going to have a coffee with you just to shoot the breeze and have a chat, because they're very busy and they think that they're very important. I'm a former recruiter. They're under the pump, and what recruiters want is someone who is an exact match to what they've been advertising. And so if you're not, it's unlikely they're going to spend time with you. The best way is reach out on LinkedIn, let them look at your profile, but use your network to find the next job. Much more, you'll have more success than going through a recruiter. Because recruiters, honestly, if you're thinking about making a career change, it's very hard to do.
Up and running.